So the term self-taught, that's also like something that I want to kind of address really quick, just
Sure.
because I feel like a lot of people don't understand what that truly means. A lot of people think that means you're sitting inside your room, not looking at anything, just trying to figure out yourself. Yeah,
Mhm.
that like you're not gonna really get anywhere doing that, right? So
Yeah.
for me, I believe it's like more like self-teaching or self-directing in a
Mm,
way, right?
I like that.
Because I was like so hungry for this information and I just didn't know where to get. I didn't even know what atelier was were at that time. Like I didn't know anything. But I started doing some research, right? I started trying to, and it all came from me looking and discovering, not just Sargent, but I saw Sargent and I'm like, I wonder if there's anyone alive that still reps maybe that mindset or philosophy. And that's how I happened across Richard Schmidt. So, and his Alla Prima book. And that Alla Prima book became my teacher almost. Like everything that I learned was from the Alla Prima book. But I think especially for listeners who are self-taught, some advice I would give as someone who is also pretty much self-taught is you really just need to take all the information you can, however you can. I can tell you a little bit of how I took some information too. So I didn't have money back then. Like I was super broke. Like I think I was literally just, man, yeah, I was like super broke that time. So I didn't have money for classes. I barely have money for paints. I barely have money for anything. So what I did first was YouTube, right? But YouTube doesn't have like I wasn't listening to the tutorials because there was no good tutorials back then on YouTube. I mean, there were tutorials, but they weren't good.
Yeah.
However, there were trailers for the DVDs of people like David LaFell, people like Morgan
Right.
Weisling, Jacob Collins, like Jeremy Lipking, like all these DVDs. I couldn't afford the DVDs, but I could afford watching like the 30-second trailer on YouTube. The 180p like trailer on YouTube.
Oh.
And that's kind of what I did. I remember there was this one Morgan Weisling video. I don't know if you know him, but I remember yeah, he's like great representational classical painter.
Mm,
Uh also from, I don't believe he's from directly from the Schmidt school of like painting, but closely related.
mhm.
And he had this one video where he was just showcasing, oh, how he like paints like a big painting. And it was very low quality, right? It was
Yeah.
old YouTube, low quality, and I remember it just showed like him, and then it showed his palette, and then it showed like the start of the painting, which is him just kind of going in, blocking a little bit. And then all of a sudden it transitions into maybe 2 hours into the painting. And then it transitions once more into the finished painting. So I had to like piece everything together. I was like, okay, what was happening in between? And then I started pausing with every little microsecond. I was like pausing, I was looking, and there was a shot of his palette where he was already mixing, right? I'm pointing to my palette, you can't really see, but he was mixing. And I was even looking at the direction of like, okay, well, I'm seeing a bit of a streak here. So maybe he went from this color here and then this color here, almost like dissecting like a crime scene in a way, right? Like, what colors he used first, like how much, like, I was looking at, you can't really tell, but I was looking at just, like sometimes when you're stabbing into like paint, like it leaves like a little bit. So I was looking at how much there was even there.
Right.
Like,
How much picked
so I
up?
was really
Oh
trying
my
to
God.
exactly. So I was just trying to dissect everything. So that was the first thing that I did, first way, right? And that's something anyone can do. I mean, now it's like you don't need to do that because there's so many great online videos now, right?
Mhm.
Including the company that I'm with, Sentient Academy. They have a whole library of free videos, and I'm just like, where was this when I was trying to learn?
Oh.
And that's actually part of the reasons why I'm with them because I'm like, wow, I want to contribute and make it easier for someone else, so they didn't have to go through what I had to go through, which is just
Mhm.
flipping through those three low resolution 30-second video all day long.